I hear a Caspian tern outside of 50 meters, and I see a peregrine falcon outside of 50 meters. I hear a Bewick's wren within 50 meters. And I hear a California towhee within 50 meters. Hi, I'm Sam Wins, conservation biologist and science educator with the Great Basin Institute and the National Park Service here at Cabrillo National Monument. As a biologist, it's my job to preserve and protect every native species of plant and animal that lives here at Cabrillo. But we can't do that unless we first know about them, right? So the National Park Service hires scientists like myself to go out and study everything that lives here. And of course, we study things in different ways, right? Different species in different ways. Like we wouldn't study a plant the same way we would study a fish, for instance. So today I'm going to talk to you about how we study terrestrial or land birds. Surprise! That's what I was doing at the beginning of this video. It's called a point count survey, where we go to different locations or points and count every species of bird that we see or that we hear. And at Cabrillo National Monument, we have 11 of these points that we go to 10 different times over a period of about 4 to 5 months. And that can tell us how things are changing over time. Not only can we compare that information from month to month, but we can also compare it from year to year. So for instance, we'll start our point count survey during the spring migration, and then we'll finish in the summer months. And that can tell us whether we have birds that are residents or birds that live here year-round, or if we have birds that are migratory. Because we actually have a lot of birds here in San Diego. We have a huge diversity of species of birds. We get about 500 of the 800 North American bird species right here in San Diego, and we get that for a couple of different reasons. Reason number one is that we have many different habitats throughout San Diego County, from open ocean up to the mountains and the desert, right? So birds can really adapt and take advantage of those different habitats. But reason number two, I kind of alluded to it a second ago, is that we happen to be on a major migratory pathway. It's called the Pacific Flyway. However, like many species on this planet, these birds are at risk. And one of the biggest risk factors to these birds is actually, you might have guessed it, climate change. The Audubon Society just released a very comprehensive report about how increasing temperature is going to affect birds over time. It's called Survival by Degrees, and I recommend that you check it out in your own time, free time. But don't be discouraged. There are many things that we can do to help our fine feathered friends, right? All of the different ways you can mitigate climate change, right, by reducing carbon emissions. You can plant native gardens and native plants in your area, and you can volunteer at conservation organizations to help our fine feathered friends out, right? Okay, thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned a little bit about how we survey songbirds at Cabrillo National Monument and the Park Service at large. Now I'm gonna get to my point count. Okay, set the timer for 5 minutes. Ready? Here we go. I hear a male wren tit outside of 50 meters, and I see a juvenile Cooper's hawk within 50 meters. I hear a second male wren tit outside of 50 meters in this direction. Well, of course, I need some tools to help me monitor these land birds. You need your handy-dandy binoculars, a must if you're looking for birds. And of course my ears, which is also a must if you're listening for birds. Did you know that songbirds, that is birds that sing, actually have their own unique song? So it really is one of the best ways to identify different species of birds when you're in the field. I also have my notebook, which is weatherproof. So I can be out here during all weather, right, and be able to write down the data that I observe. We'll take atmospheric data as well. That'll be wind speed, temperature, Factors like that, cloud cover, maybe even noise pollution, because of course all of that will affect what birds that we are able to identify and how many we are able to identify. And then I have my handy dandy field guide in case there is a tricky bird. I have this in a quick pinch so that I can reference it to make sure I'm identifying the correct bird.